Yo, what's up everybody?
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we're Peter and Yin, travel vloggers from New Zealand. And we are currently in Kalampaka, Greece, where we're spending a couple of nights to go check out the incredible Meteora. So we thought we'd share our experience as well as some useful things to know.
Yeah, so we caught a train to Kalampaka from Athens and that took about 4.5 hours. There's one direct train that runs every single day and we purchased our tickets online through Hellenic Trains. We'll leave the details of that down in the description below. But once you get on board the train, it's very convenient. There's some large sections for your large baggage, which is good, and also some compartments up on the top for your backpacks. There's also a cafe carriage with a designated seating area. Very convenient. Today we're going to be traveling by bus over to Meteora, so can't wait for that.
Yeah, let's go.
Just purchased our bus tickets. They were €550 for the all-day pass, which allows us to catch the bus as many times as we want. But if you want a single route ticket, it's €1.6. If you're coming to Meteora, there's actually various different forms of transportation you could take. You can do a group tour, which is probably the most popular, from Athens or Thessaloniki. But the cost is around about 200 to 220 NZD. Otherwise, you could rent a car, but we've heard that parking on the Meteora sites is very, very limited, so you might want to consider that if you're doing that option. Otherwise, you could do what Yen and I have done. We've come here, we're staying about 3 nights, and the total cost for us works out to be about the same as if we had done the one-day group tour. You're also very limited in time for the one-day group tour because the train, of course, is 4 hours and then you've got another 4 hours back as well, which only really gives you about 3 or 4 hours at the actual monastery sites themselves because they've got a very limited opening hours. If you're a nature lover, you could also do hikes and bike rides once you're here, but for us, bus is the way for us. And also we've heard that there should be some taxis as well, but I haven't really seen any taxis around, so I'll keep you updated on that one. Gosh, look at this.
Such an incredible view. It looks amazing. But yeah, a couple of things to know first is that the bus took maybe about half an hour to reach this spot, which is the Great Meteoron that we're going to go check out first. There are 6 monasteries in total, and it's recommended that you don't try cram all 6 into a day because it's too much. We're going to aim for 3. We'll see how we go. But the bus basically does a loop around and stops at each of the monasteries as well. And also notice that you can purchase the bus tickets on the bus too. There's a lady that's selling them as well as checks your tickets. But yeah, that one over there, that's Varlaam, and we're going to go over to the Great Meteora first.
Woo, so excited, let's go.
Okay, so this is something that we read a lot about online, which I was quite curious about once we actually get up there. But there is a very strict dress code because these are wholly religious places. They're not tourist attractions. And so men have to wear long trousers and no sleeveless shirts. And women, it says that you have to wear blouses or things that cover your shoulders, but as well as a skirt. And I've read that pants even aren't quite allowed, and they have skirts that you can cover yourself with. Not 100% sure on that, and maybe it varies between the monasteries, so there'll be something interesting to find out once we're up there, like how strictly enforced is it. But yeah, just remember, these are holy sites, and so we've got to respect the dress code too. this great Meteoron is the oldest and the largest of all the monasteries, and it is a male monastery. So I did have to wear one of these skirts, which they provide right at the entrance where you get your tickets. It's €3 per person, and this monastery was founded by Saint Athanasius back in the mid-14th century. There are beautiful courtyards where you can admire all the spectacular views and scenery all around. And there's also an exhibition hall and museums, as well as the main church, which in those ones you can't do any photos or videos, but they're definitely well worth checking out. You can see a bunch of incredible frescoes, wall paintings, and as well as scrolls, books, there's tunics, there's crosses, a lot of great things to go have a look while you're here. But I think now we're going to go try and make our way over to Varlaam.
That sounds like a good plan. If you're driving a car, then you can note that you can either park along the side of the road like all these cars here. There are some free spaces. There's also a public car park all the way down there somewhere, but we're not as close to the monastery, so it's a bit of a walk. So it was only roughly a 10-minute walk from the Great Meteoron over here to Varlaam. And Meteora, the Greek word, roughly translates to suspended in the air, which is a very fitting name because, as you can see, all these Greek Orthodox monasteries are perched so high up.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah, and there are still some nuns as well as monks who still reside in the monasteries. There used to be 24 of them, but now, of course, you've only got the 6 that you can go into. When we were in the Sumela Monastery back last year in Trabzon, Turkey, we were like, this is definitely one of the things that we wanted to see in our lifetimes at least, as well as Tiger's Nest and the Chapel in the Sky in Ethiopia. And so I'm really glad that we were able to make it here.
Same here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Coming in here, immediately you can see how beautiful that terrace is, and again, amazing views. A good thing to note for us ladies is that you do also have to wear a skirt here too, but here you can't borrow it, so you have to purchase it. It is €350. Varlaam is the second largest monastery after the Great Meteoron, and it was named after the first monk that built the first church on the rock back in 1350.
Does anybody want to know what's inside this barrel? Here we go. Whoa, that's a lot of money in here. Okay. Now, if you're wondering how these monasteries would used to get their supplies back in the old days, well, centuries ago, they'd have a manual police system.
Yes, with nets as well.
Yeah, but these days it's all modernized, and so you can see little cable cars going back and forth and getting the supplies much more easily now.
If you're wondering about food or snacks and water, that sort of thing, there are some food stalls at the base, so before you walk up over to the entrance of the monasteries, at least here in Varlaam, and as well as at the Great Meteora before. There are toilets too, they're squat toilets, and also another important thing to note is that the opening times for each of the monasteries are different, so it's a good idea to check online first. But yeah, we noticed that they are closed relatively early, so around about 3 or 4 o'clock, and there are different days that each of the monasteries are closed as well. So yeah, definitely want to check that online first. What a view here, right?
Yes, definitely. So here's an extra tip. If you look on Google Maps and find a couple of the observation points, I can guarantee you it's totally worth checking them out because you get some great views looking back at the two monasteries bunched together over there.
Sure
but there's
do.
some other observation points as well, and we want to go check them out in our own time throughout our trip here in Meteora as well.
Yeah, you just want to be careful because
Yes.
it is quite rocky and
It's
uneven.
sandstone rocks, all these formations here, and they're very uneven and there's little bits jutting out, so be careful when you're walking up them.
Yeah, when you're looking over, sometimes it looks like it just plunges down.
There are some taxis, but not very many, and we got a ride over to the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, thank you. We were deciding between whether we should go to Roussanou or take a taxi to come over here to the Holy Trinity. But if we had waited for the bus, then we could have gone to Roussanou. So we sort of left it up to fate. We're like, if a taxi comes, then we'll come here instead. And it's because we would have missed the route. It just wouldn't have worked out timing-wise, I think, quite as well as catching a taxi. So that
Yeah,
was
exactly. It was 10 euros for us.
a very short drive over, but saves us the walk and saves us waiting for the bus to do like a massive ass loop again.
Okay, so I'm pretty glad that we made our way over to the Holy Trinity Monastery. It's meant to have the most dramatic views, and you can already see that as soon as you arrive. Looking at the landscape here, it's very different from the monasteries that we were at before. But with the dramaticness, it also comes with the most difficult stairs to incline up. It's meant to have around about 140, but if you have reasonable fitness, it should be all good.
Yeah.
Like the other monasteries weren't too difficult at all. There's also a monastery, St. Stephanos, which has no steps at all. So if you want to have an easy walk in, that's the one for you, most definitely.
It's the only one of the 6 monasteries that doesn't have steps to climb.
Yeah, that's right. And this one also featured in a film, James Bond For Your Eyes Only, which is pretty cool. Wow, this top point from Holy Trinity Monastery is absolutely epic.
It really is.
Yeah, you can see all the views of Kalampaka town right back over there, and it looks absolutely amazing. We're actually staying down there in an Airbnb. I found that Airbnbs generally cost around about 90 to 100 something NZD. And then if you come back around this side, well, you can see all the monasteries that we were been to just over there, and man, does it look amazing to see that.
Get up to that little peak there, but it's an easy walk, just careful of footing as usual.
So there's all this like rocky terrain, and it's like the monastery has just been built incorporating this into its design, which makes it just that little bit more unique. And I'm so glad we came here. This one's also much more quieter than the others.
Yeah, it is. There are accommodations in the town right at the foot of Meteora, which is Castraki, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
But Kalampaka is the biggest town that's closest to here.
Yeah, and all the transportation goes to Kalampaka, which makes it just that little bit easier. In case you're confused where the Holy Trinity bus stop is, it's here at the panoramic viewpoint marker on Google. Just look out for this sign that's over here, and you should be good.
So we are waiting for our bus now. It is roughly about 3:30 and it should arrive around about 4 o'clock. I believe it's the last one back into town for the day.
Yeah, seeing 3 monasteries I think was just about right.
Yeah.
And it's been an absolutely magic day seeing these monasteries high up perched in these cliffs.
Yeah, I think we picked the best ones too, at least it felt like it anyway. We hope you guys found this video useful, and if you enjoyed it, please remember to leave us a like and a comment. Also subscribe if you haven't already. If you can, please share our video too, that really does help the channel and we really appreciate it.
Until the next one, everyone.
Next time.
See ya.